Hi, and welcome to the Baswik podcast. My name is Frauke, and I'm 36 years old, and you are right now in my library. This is actually where the past 6 episodes of my podcast have been recorded, but it's been over a year, and I'm really sorry about it, but I've had a crazy busy year, and I'm trying to catch up now and getting my act together and try to record on a more regular basis and getting back on track, because I really love this and the interaction with all of you guys. So welcome or welcome back, and I hope we will have a lovely time on here. I'm going to show you a lot of things today because I'm trying to catch up on the past year with all the yarn that I've acquired and that was gifted to me, and some of the projects I've been working on, and some of the projects I'm still working on, and yeah, maybe something very special in the end. You can find me on Ravelry, where my tag is FSiemer, or actually this podcast has a group as well called, if you just go search for Baswik. You can find me on Instagram as Miss Siemer, and I actually dye my own yarn, so you can find me on Instagram as well, Baswik_yarn, and see what I am up to when I am not sitting right here and recording. Actually, I have a busy work life. I'm a vice principal at a school in Esbjerg, in western part of Denmark, and yeah, it takes a lot of my time. If I am not crafty or at work, I actually spend a lot of my time with my dogs, because I have 5 Alaskan Malamutes. Those are sled dogs, and so I'm not always dressed like this. I'm actually a very casual person when I'm at home. It just, yeah, it's required with 5 dogs in the household. So let's just get started and jump right into it. So we can start with the thing I'm wearing. It's a design by Amy Appel called Beauty School, and I found it by coincidence on Ravelry. You know, when you're browsing through some searches, sometimes you find something you didn't know you were looking for. And this was actually one of them. It's a very simple sweater, knit top down, and it's with the 3/4 sleeves, and it's cropped. I found the yarn for it in Flittilis. My friend owns the store, and she had a similar jumper down there, and it was knit in this Camarose dusty pink and mohair from Sandnes, and I really like the texture of it. I've never knit with mohair before, and I've knit for a lot of years. So I thought, well, maybe that was something I had to try, and so I tried it now. Even though I love mohair and I love the feel of it, and I didn't have any problems with the 2 strains, it was just well, there are some things I love more than mohair. I'm sorry. I love the halo, and I love everything about it. It's warm and it's comfy, and it's really nice, and I use it a lot. But yeah, well, there are a lot of things I want to try instead. So it's not the last mohair project, I'm sure, but well, you will see later why I'm saying this. It was a very easy pattern. It was very well written, and lovely description all the way through. So thank you, Amy. It was lovely. You have made I don't think it's the last time I will try and knit this project, but yeah, I have a lot of projects on my needles right now. I actually used to be a very monogamous knitter, and I don't know when it changed, but it changed. I think it something with one sock and then another sock, just for diversion. But yeah, well, it ended up being one sweater and then another sweater and then a few socks and so on. So you will see that later. I'm starting with some of the projects I have been working on for the past year, which I've finished, and some of them are still lingering in my project bags. But yeah, let's look into it. It's the Beautiful and the Damned. I started yeah, a little after the last podcast. It was my niece's birthday, and her mom wished for a sweater for my niece, so I knit one for her. It's called Synve, and it's by Lene, Holme, Samsøe. I knit it in Sandnes Duo, and I'm putting in a picture right here. It's actually the only picture I have of it right now. I think I have a picture of my niece in it, but I will have to look through it. It was a very lovely pattern, easy to knit. It was a fast knit, and I knitted in Sandnes Duo. I think it's cotton and wool mix, so it's easy to care for, and that's something I have to think of with kids. I actually knit quite a few things for my nephew and my niece. They love it and they wear it all the time, especially in winter. So I am very happy that I can keep them warm. One of the next things I worked on was actually a project that I didn't know I needed and I didn't know I wanted, but I have loved it ever since. It was a visit to my friend's store again that showed me a yarn that I couldn't live without. It is called Camarose, and it's her tweed, Lama-tweed, and it's the black one, I think. Yeah, it's the black one. And what I wanted to knit of it was the Tamarack from or by Jared Flood from Brooklyn Tweed, and it's actually the guy's version of it, because I didn't like the ladies' version of it with the belt, so I made the male version, and I actually don't use it that much, but I really love it because it's soft and it's squishy, and it reminds me of a college professor from the 30s. So yeah, I use it mostly at home, and I am looking forward to this spring because I think it would be nice to use in the mornings or in the afternoons, depending on when I'm getting home from work or going home from work, so I can use it there as like a coat or something. I'm putting a picture in here. This is actually the picture I use for Ravelry, and I think I put one on Instagram as well. I really love the color, and it was such a fast knit. I bought the yarn the week before our winter holiday, and we went to Sweden. And no, sorry, it was the summer holiday. We were 1 week in Sweden in the summer holiday as well, and I knitted on this trip. So it was a quick knit, and it was really lovely, and yeah, I really love it. So recommendation right there. If you want something that's warm and cozy, please look at the Tamarack. And sorry that I'm looking down all the time, but I have my iPad with the notes down here, and I will put them down below after I've uploaded, or when I upload this video, so you can see all the links to the patterns or the names of the patterns and who designed them and what kind of yarn I used. For Christmas, I wanted to make something special for my mother-in-law, so this is actually a picture she sent me afterwards. Was it for her birthday? No, it was for Christmas I wanted to make it, but I was way ahead of time, so her birthday is on the first of November, so I actually gifted it to her by then. So this is called the Karla Poncho, and it's by Hanne, a Danish designer, and I actually use Danish yarn as well because I'm used Isaiah Twinny. No, sorry, Isaiah Spinny, and used a red and a pink instead of a red and a yellow or orange. I think it's an original. It was actually a very fast knit, even though it's knit on, I think, 3.0 needles, and I love the texture of it. It's not that heavy, but really nice, and my parents-in-law, my mother and father-in-law were visiting us last week, and she was actually wearing it, so it was really nice to see that she's using it. Yeah, and so yeah, she didn't get it for Christmas, but I made a lot of things for Christmas, but mainly for myself. I entered into this very selfish mode somewhere after this Karla Poncho, and yeah, it's just because I really love to wear my own knitwear. And so I had actually a project from last year that I didn't finish, and it was my Christmas jumper. And so I decided to finish it this year, and I have been using it quite a lot, and I've got some compliments along the way. It's a vintage pattern. It's called the Christmas tree 1930s Christmas tree jumper, and I found it on Ravelry or bought it on Etsy. I actually don't remember. It's a lovely pattern, and I made it in a little cropped version, so I can use it with pants or with a skirt. And yeah, I can only use it for Christmas because it's really, really Christmassy. But yeah, this is my Christmas tree jumper. If I have another picture, I will put it in here. I'm not sure right now, but I will put it in here. And I used some yarn that I bought 2 years ago at Fanø Strikkefestival, where the little gray sheep were. And I already knew when I bought the yarn what I wanted to use it for, but I didn't finish it by last Christmas. And when we passed December, I didn't feel like knitting any Christmas jumper anymore. So I put it away. And then, yeah, come November last year, I actually picked it up again, and it was done within, yeah, a few days actually. So I just had to assemble it and wash it and block it. And now I've been using it for in the entirety of December, so I'm really happy with it. It has a really great vintage feel to it, so it's not the last Christmas jumper, I guess. And then I started another project because I wanted another sweater, and this is actually a Christmas themed sweater. It's called what's it called? It's called, sorry, Betty and Julie's Lodge sweater. It's again Amy Appel, the one who designed this, who made a red with mistletoe on top. It's really lovely. But I saw by golly, if you don't know her, go check her on Instagram. She's so great. She is sewing, she is knitting, she's so wonderful. I really love following her and seeing what she's up to and what she's doing. It's really professional, all the things she's doing, so it's so lovely. But she made an autumnal version of the Lodge sweater for Rhinebeck, and it was orange, I think, orange with acorns, and I thought, well, I will have to steal that idea because I made this one. I made it's like ochre, and I changed the leaves a bit and made acorns for it. And yeah, I knit everything on this and put the acorns on, and I think I wore it twice and everyone loves it, but it's even though it's very autumnal, it's very Christmassy as well. So I have actually just worn it for December last year. I knit it in a week. It was very fast. It's on, I think it was 4.5 needles, and it was just really lovely, top down, and yeah, a lovely design by Amy Appel. So I can highly recommend it. I knit it in Camarose Tynd. It's a really soft yarn and wool, and I really like it. So recommendation right there, and I will put a picture in as well, so you can see how it looks when I'm wearing it. And I said before that I own 5 sled dogs, so that makes my life a bit practical sometimes, and that means hats. I actually started this last year, and I never finished it, and it looks a bit big right now, but I just have to throw it in the washer and the dryer, and then it's the same. It's a bit smaller. This is hedgehog fibers, pollen, and merino decay. I just fell in love with the color when I went to visit Yarn Freak in Aarhus. Very nice yarn store. And I had to buy it right away, and I didn't know what I wanted to use it for. So I thought, well, maybe a hat. So I found this pattern by Stephen West. It's called Yes Checks. Sorry, and it was knit up very fast. I think it was like an evening or two. And I have been using it ever since. It's so crazy comfortable. When I'm walking around at home, I don't want to do my hair. Just put on this hat, yeah, that made me make another one. I have been adoring this yarn by Malamutemaniac. It's this one, royal blue, very lovely. And I wanted a hat that was slouchy. I didn't get it, as you see, but it can be used in different ways. I can make a beanie out of it, or I can actually wear it like this and then just have my hair in a ponytail inside of it, and it's really, really nice. I have been using it a lot, and yeah, that's just casual me. The not so casual me, sorry, I will have to pick something up here. The not so casual me is wearing a lot of vintage. And I love to knit vintage as well, and I love to knit a lot of different patterns from the 30s to the 50s, and I also love of course Susan Crawford, who has reinvented some of these patterns. So last year I bought some of her PDF patterns. Actually, she made a set of PDF patterns, I think in honor of something with Queen Elizabeth. I don't remember, I'm sorry, I will put it in the show notes and you can see it there. But I wanted to knit a beret, it was called Crown and Glory, and I used Camarose for it. It's, you can't see it very well, but it's actually tiny crowns, and yeah, I didn't cast on and check my gauge, so this is a very small hat. But I have been wearing it sometimes, and I will use it from now on until the day I can't wear it anymore. But I want to knit it again on in the right gauge, so I get a nice and bigger beret. And yeah, speaking of it, my great-grandma used to actually knit me handkerchiefs. And I think, oh no, not handkerchiefs, sorry, scarves. And I think you all know them. It's this one where you pull it through a loop, and it's so nice, and you can have it under your coat, and it's just really, really lovely and warm and hugs your neck. And I decided to knit one of these. So I went to Flidelies again, and I bought some Isager. And it's alpaca 1 and the mohair, I think. I will put it in the show notes, I don't remember right now. But again, I am knitting with 2. And I actually cast on a scarf. And as you can see, it's a rip-off of the one I showed you before, but this one is knit on 2.5 needles, and I'm a bit further than halfway. But the main idea behind this is to make a set, so I can use this as a handkerchief, and then I want to make this one again in the right size, in the same yarn as this. I can use them together. It's a bit more reddish than this one. It's a bit more purple, but sorry, I really want to make a set so I can use it. And yeah, we are heading straight into summer, and I am knitting my winter stuff. So hooray! But I have just something to look forward to for the next winter. But yeah, this is a lovely, lovely project. I'm loving using this yarn, and I've actually already bought it in like a curry color, ochre. So I can make another set, but in a slightly different pattern. You always need a set of scarf and hat, aren't you? Yeah, well, let's go on to some of the projects I have been working on lately, or that have been lingering for a while. I think I managed to show you this one on the last episode over a year ago. I got this book and I adore it. It's so well written and well put together, and there are some lovely patterns in here. It's Susan Crawford's The Vintage Shetland Project, and if you do not know it, please do yourself the favor and borrow it somewhere in the library, or buy it, see it. It's so lovely. I couldn't wait to cast on my first project, and I did, and it was the Mary sweater. It's just a crazy beautiful sweater, and the beautiful pattern on top is 1,000 pearls. And I don't know what I was thinking. I bought yarn, I bought the pearls, I cast it on, and I've made the front, it's knitted around, and I got to the back, and now I've been stuck for a year. It has been languishing in a project bag ever since last year sometime. I love this blue color. It's Isaiah Twinny Tweed. I love the blue, I love the texture, I love everything about it. I haven't figured out how I'm going to put those pearls in there, and I'm dreading it because there are 1,000 pearls in this sweater, but I really, really love it, so I have to finish it because I would love to wear this beautiful sweater. I think it's a lovely, lovely design. Everything about it just screams my name, so I will have to pick it up again and just finish it. There's so little, only the sleeves and this top thing, so maybe this year, I don't know, we'll see. Another project I've been working on, I'm going down here again, sorry, looking down. One of the other things I've started, actually right past Christmas, was a project I've seen what Ellie do, Skein knits, and if you don't know her, go check her out. She's really, really lovely, and she makes some lovely, lovely patterns, and she knits a lot of Scandinavian style like jumpers and everything else. So when she made this Mitten Garland, I had to figure out where to get the pattern for it because I really, really liked it. So ta-da! I have the first two, and now it's been like, I don't know, 2 months since I made a mitten. I made two just in a week or something like that. I am using Navia, and I actually chose 4 colors. The pattern only requires 3, but the problem is when, 5 colors, there's a white as well, and the pattern only wants 4. But the problem is that the white and the light gray are too similar when I'm knitting them up. So I had to throw in a third or a 5th color, and that was the bright green. So the original pattern is with red and gray and white, and I love green, and my Christmas is green and gold, so I had to make the Mitten Garland in green. You can find the pattern on Ravelry. It's so lovely, and it's they are just a little project here and there, like socks. You just pick them up and then you make one and then you on to the next. And the lovely thing about this, if you ever suffered of second sock syndrome, there's none of this in this project, because you only have to do one mitten. One mitten in one pattern. So there are 24 different patterns, one for each day of December, and they are just adorable. So I can't wait to cast on the third one and then just go ahead. I have no plans of when I want to finish it. It doesn't have to be this year. It's just whenever I feel like it, I can cast on a mitten and just knit along on it. So lovely. And if you do not know Navia or Navia, I highly recommend it. It's actually one of the cheaper wools here in Denmark. It's original wool from the Faroe Islands, and you can get it in a uno like this one, or a duo, or trio, and they are just, it's really, really lovely and sturdy wool. I'm not so what's it called? I do not mind that it scratches. So navy is a bit scratchy, but it's just so damn lovely. And someday maybe I will, knit a sweater out of it. I think, I do not think it. I know it's very lovely for Fair Isle and color work. So that was another project. What have I done as well? I cast on 2 sweaters. Or the one is a t-shirt or a shirt for summer, a more summery blouse maybe, and the other one is a winter sweater. The summery blouse, I'll find it here, is this one. I've had this pattern for 2 years or something, and I really wanted to knit it, and I wanted it in blue as well. I knit something similar to it last year in green, and I used it all summer. It was so lovely to walk around in knitwear in the middle of summer, and we had a very warm summer last year. But I wanted to knit this, and I actually wanted to knit it in Volumized. But then I came across Hedgehog Fiber sock yarn in this very lovely ink, and I couldn't walk past it. I had to own it, and so now 2 skeins are turning into this one. I only made the ribbing on the front, and then I started another project, and since then it's just been in my project bag. But I will get back to this, because I know this will be a quick knit, and it will be so lovely to wear it in the summer, so I will definitely get back on this. But the other project that I started is a vintage pattern as well. Every year in October, I think it is, there's a fair, a crafts fair, and I'm going there every year, and there's this lovely, lovely shop with vintage patterns and a lot of vintage things. And every year I say to myself, you do not need any more patterns or booklets with vintage patterns, but every year I go home with yet another pattern book. So I think it was last year or the year before, I came home with this. This is a Swedish pattern booklet from the 40s or 50s, I guess. I actually don't think it's said. 1951, I'm sorry. 1951. And needless to say, I love every pattern in this book. But I actually fell in love with a very specific one, and it's actually this one, the red one in the top corner. And it's very, very simple, but I just love the neckline on it. Because you can wear it like this, where it's pinned, or you can just leave it open, and it's a ski jumper, and it just screams my name. And I have been wanting to knit this for quite a while. There's another picture of it. It's not very good, but I cast it on. And I've already knit the back, which is here. and the front, which is here. So I only need to knit the sleeves and the collar, and then I am done with this. And I knit this in navy as well, because I really love the texture of it, and it's a ski jumper, and it would be really lovely to wear this in the winter. So I am going to cast on the sleeves this weekend, and hopefully finish it very soon. But I'm really lovely pattern. Browsing through these booklets, you always find a lot of lovely patterns, and so I already know that this one is going to be cast on some time this year, because I really love it, and I already have the yarn for it. So yeah, just wait and see, and I will tell you. I probably forgot something. I made a lot of smaller projects, and they are just scattered around the house, and I couldn't remember. So these are the main points of the past year. But should we just say that if it's something important, I will put it in the next episode, and just move on to all that stash? I think so. Let's see what I have gathered the past year. I went to this fair again last year, and there's a Danish brand called Gold, G and Ul, and it actually means gold. And they make they dye they use plants to color or to dye yarn. So I fell in love with this red one. It's made with cochineal. I don't know what it's called in English, so I hope it's the same in English as well. But it's really lovely, and it's not as bright red as you see it. It's a bit more, I don't know, dusky. I don't know what it's called. But it's really lovely, and I actually wanted to use it for the pattern I just showed you, the one I'm doing in blue with the ski jumper. But I had a skein too little, and I didn't want to, I needed one more skein, but I didn't want to buy another one. So yeah, I'm just going to keep this in my stash and just see what it turns into. I'm sure I will find another project for this. Then every year we go to Flensburg. I have told you a lot about this on one of the previous podcasts, but there's this lovely shop in Flensburg called Wollsucht, and I just love going to Flensburg just to visit this shop. And my whole family knows that once I enter this shop, there will be no telling of how many skeins are leaving with me. I can easily use or spend an hour in there, because I really just, I think it's just such a nice atmosphere in there. There's yarn everywhere, and yeah, why change traditions? So I went and looked for some yarn that I bought one of the colors last year, this one, and I made a hat for my boyfriend. And this time I actually bought all of these skeins because I want to use them, or I bought them to knit Blåfjell, I think it's called now, by Skein Knits. I love the pattern, and I think it's very lovely. And I wanted some nice bluish colors, not quite the same as hers, and I used a gray instead of a white, and I really like the colors together. But this is, I'm sorry, it's rosy green wool, the cheeky merino joy, and you can use it for it. This is so unprofessional. I'm very sorry. I forgot. 100% virgin wool, organic merino, extra fine. I'm just afraid that it will be too soft. The more I squish it, it's really, really lovely, and I could really see it turn into a very beautiful sweater. I'm just not sure that it's for this project. So I will have to think about it, because I really want the sweater by Skandir. And because Ellie made a lovely, lovely pattern, and I've been looking for it for, since she posted it. So maybe these are turning into it, I don't know. Maybe they don't. For Christmas, I got a present from my friend Karin, which I mentioned previously. She's the owner of a yarn store in Esbjerg called Flittelise, and she gifted me 5 skeins of this lovely natural wool. And for my birthday, she gifted me this. I don't know what to say. She made this. I bought some yarn for her in Leipzig last year. And she spun it, and she made this lovely, lovely, lovely hang of wonderful, wonderful yarn. And she has one similar to it, and she's using it for a poncho right now, and I just love that poncho. It looks so lovely. And to begin with, I didn't know what I wanted to use this for, because it's so special, and I want it to be something special that I'm using. And so I have decided that I want to make a sweater, a colorwork sweater, where this is the main color and this is the colorwork, because it looks so lovely when put with a neutral like this. And I've seen it, because I've seen it in a poncho, and I've been looking at patterns like fern and feather and all kinds of patterns, and I'm not quite sure which one yet, but this will definitely be cast on this year, because I really, really want a sweater for winter, which reminds me of her every time I wear it, because she's so very special to me. And this just shows how special she is, gifting me these lovely yarns. So keep an eye out for these, because they are turning into the most lovely sweater you've ever seen. Just watch. And yeah, I was so happy to show you this that I actually forgot that I bought these at Wollmeise as well, and at Christmas. Why just buy 5 skeins of rose green wool when you can get 2 skeins of Wollmeise as well? She actually didn't have any in her store when I went there, and I was really disappointed, because I really, really like Wollmeise, and especially their lace yarn. So I asked her if she didn't have any of it anymore, if she didn't have it in stock anymore. But she did. She just put it in the back of her store, in the back of the store. So she went out back, and she came in with a handful of different colors, and this one was one of them. It's O raises negative. It's a lovely Bordeaux, or mauve, Bordeaux, red color, and I have no idea what I want to use it for, but I just had to take them home with me. Do you know that feeling? Crazy feeling. But hey, yeah. I think they're living nicely in my stash right now, and I will definitely find something to make with it. So, I also made a purchase in the US. It's not very often that I buy yarn in the US, because there are a lot of taxes and shipping, and it's just very expensive. But between Christmas and New Year's, Miss Babs is having a sale every year, gratitude sale, just to thank their customers. So I thought, well, maybe this year I will try and buy something from Miss Babs again. And so I asked Karen if she wanted to join me, and we could just buy a whole lot of yarn. And so we did. I immediately fell in love with this one. It's called Old Gold, I think. Oh, see, Old Gold? Yeah, exactly. And I bought 4 skeins of it in the yummy 2-ply base. And I will use it for the sweater I just showed you, the one where she's standing in front of a plane, the vintage sweater. I really love this color. It is really old gold. It's not shiny, but just a lovely, lovely gold tone. And I really, really like it. So I bought this one, and then I bought this one in the yummy 2-ply again. It is called Walnut. And it really is walnut. It's the loveliest, warmest brown you can imagine. It's picking up very badly here, but nevertheless, I bought 5 skeins of this one, and it's going to be some kind of sweater as well. I really love Miss Babs. They make lovely colors, and I'm so inspired every time I go in there because I dye as well. But it's just amazing. It's creative, it's lovely. They have a lot of different qualities, and it's lovely, lovely yarn. So I am so happy that Karen was in on it. Yeah, we got a whole package. So it's really, really lovely. And now for the something special I wanted to show you. I've started dyeing yarn again because Karin asked me if I would dye some yarn for her store, and so I have done that, and it's going to be on sale from the 1st of April, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. I'm very, very proud of it. But the thing I'm mostly proud about is actually that I made a collaboration with Karen because we all know someone who is diagnosed with cancer, and in Denmark we have a foundation called Støvet for women with breast cancer, and I dyed up this sock set. We're going to do a knit along in the month of April, and yeah, you can read all about it at Fleetelise if you want to participate in it. But we are actually selling these sock sets in the store, yeah, trying to earn some money for charity and give it to charity. So we're going to give all the money from these sales to Støvet. So I hope a lot of people will join in and yeah, just help us raise some money for this very great cause. I don't know what the next year will bring. I thought that when I made the 6th episode that I would do the 7th shortly after, but I have had a crazy busy year. I've been diagnosed with I don't even know what's it called. Something in my back. I have a horrible pain in my leg. My foot is sleeping, and I've had some terrible pains because of that, but I am pulling through, and I'm training all that I can. I've started dyeing. I am working hard, and I know that the year will bring a lot of great projects my way. I told you I wanted to do the Blåfjell, and I am going to make this lovely colorwork sweater with the yarn I got from Karen. But I also want to make my own patterns. I started creating last year, and I never got around finishing it and publishing it. So that's a dream of mine for this year. I also love sewing, and last summer I was at my sewing machine a lot of the time and creating lovely dresses from How to Do Fashion. I mentioned her before in one of the previous podcasts, and I will definitely do that again. And And then I actually hope that I am going to finish my Mary jumper from Susan Crawford, or by Susan Crawford, because I really want to make some other projects from the Shetland, the vintage Shetland. I can't even talk anymore. I'm sorry. The vintage Shetland project, because I am going to London, not this week but next week with my parents. It's the first time ever they are going to the UK, so I'm really looking forward to that, showing them around and yeah, seeing a lot of the things that I haven't even seen yet, because I have never been seeing all the tourist things in London. But I am going to Loop, and I am hopefully going to some other yarn stores, because I really want to take home some yarn and maybe even some of the brands that I can't get here in Denmark. So I am looking forward to that. And if you see me there, come say hi, and I would really love that. So if you have any recommendations, by the way, of what to see and where to go, please, yeah, write me, or yeah, make a comment down below. I would really love that. I think that's it for now. It's been really lovely being back. I'm sorry for my babbling and my bad English right now, but I need to get back on track, so I'm just throwing myself into it right now. It has been lovely spending some time with all of you, and I'm really looking forward to be back. So until then, bye.